there's one thing this MMO has cured me of, it's the delusion of a forever game. You guys out there are most likely into this. You probably know what a forever game is. It's when you play a video game almost every day of your life for whatever reason, whether you're going back to do a daily or to refight a boss, or you're playing with friends who are doing a raid over and over again. I mean, you're probably playing Final Fantasy XIV right now while listening to this video. Go ahead, yeah, admit it, you're doing that right now. The point is, the forever game syndrome has been cut off thanks to Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have gone through this same scenario. No, I am not saying that I am taking a break forever from the game, and no, it's not burnout, but it's more or less like a cut from a string. This whole forever game thing is not just to the players, but it is kind of a mindset for companies out there just as well. The reason why World of Warcraft is such a huge and popular MMO is because almost everyone who got into that game had this whole forever game thing, which I think I just want to call it maybe forever game syndrome. Yeah, let's coin that phrase, the forever game syndrome. I want you guys to think about this. You're going into the same MMO, example Final Fantasy, and you're just doing a daily, or perhaps you're trying to go for a relic, or you're going and doing anything, any activity every single day. You try to find time after work, after you go out and have fun with your friends, spending time with family, and you get right back into 14. That's what I would call the forever game syndrome. Now, it's not a bad thing. I'm not trying to make this sound like it's a bad thing, but it's there. It really is there. You're going back into playing the game. You can't help yourself sometimes, right? The thing here is that I've dropped out of this whole forever game syndrome. I don't play Final Fantasy every single day. I only get on really when I want to go ahead and keep my house where it is, and I also hang out with certain people, with friends, and I do want to try to work on my relic. I know it's not the relic that's pushing me away from the game, but it's the overall feel of the MMO itself. Final Fantasy XIV is still a fun game. I'm just not seeing it as the forever game that I need to log in every single day to do. Will I let the auto pay for my monthly billing to go by every single month? Yes, I will, because I know I will get on at one certain point, plus I need my house. I want to keep my house. But what if my friends decided, hey, they wanted to do something? Maybe there's an event that I really want to get into. And of course, you have the patches that update the story and perhaps add a few content and events. I don't know why I haven't started the Hildebrand quest. I really should start that. I really like those. I just don't know why I haven't started it. And I know I've gone on to say that I love the field operations. I love Bozja, but I don't like Eureka, but I love Bozja. I know that I haven't said much about this new field operation, but I don't see Occult Crescent as being better than Bozja. I like Bozja just a tad more than Occult Crescent. I do like Occult Crescent. I haven't done everything in Occult Crescent. I'm not even max level in Occult Crescent, but I still can't say that it's better than Bozja. And maybe I'm the weird one because I know there's a good amount of people who don't like Bozja but love Eureka, and I don't understand them. But I do think Occult Crescent isn't bad. It's pretty safe. I don't think they're trying to overstep certain bounds. They want to still keep a lot of people entertained, but at the same time, they're not trying to overwhelm people with certain things. Even though it's supposed to be a journey to get the Demi-Atma, even though I know a lot of people who had the same reaction as the character in game. But the point is, before I keep going on and on about Occult Crescent, I have, for lack of a better word, have become freed from the chains of this very, very popular MMO. A lot of you guys who are still playing 14 don't think that I have quit, and don't think that I'm trying to tell you to stop playing the game. I'm just telling you what is happening with me. I don't see Final Fantasy XIV as the one game that I should be playing every single day. There are way too many games coming out, plus I got the Switch too, that I really do want to play at this point in time. There are a bunch of indie games that I want to play, and there are a ton of indie games that I really do want to play. This is probably a good time for me to plug my other channel, the Indie Observer. If you guys want to see me talk about indie games, yeah, head on over there. I do reviews and I try to talk about things like whether or not the indie game is worth playing, going through their demos, or if the actual games come out, I do a full review. Some games I did demos for maybe a year or two ago has their full games coming out released this month, and one of them is Chronicles of the Wolf. I will get to that game as soon as possible, but again, if you're interested in indie games, head on over there, please and thank you. Anyway, before I get distracted again, I just want to say this. Final Fantasy XIV does a very good job in trying to destroy that whole motive of a forever game. Hear me out. Yoshi P has expressed that he didn't want people to play Final Fantasy XIV all the time. In fact, he said if you're bored with it or you just don't want to play it right now, unsubscribe and come back later. Now he's singing a different tune due to Dawn Trail's performance, but back in the day, he would usually advise players to come back if they don't have the money or if they're too busy. I mean, imagine telling your players, hey, if you're not having fun with the game, wait till the next update or patch where I'm going to give you more content and more story. You can come back then. And this has been a constant. For years, Yoshi P has been advising players to do this. But because of how Dawn Trail is, I personally have stepped away from the game and started playing other games due to this bit of advice that he's been telling me for years. And being freed from this forever game syndrome allows me to see kind of a different perspective when it comes to the video game industry. There's a certain shift that I feel is happening with the AAA industry, and I think and hopefully things are going to change for the better. But seeing how I've been playing a lot of indie games because I have a lot of free time that isn't in Final Fantasy XIV this time, well, it helps me to open my eyes into the things that I'm really missing, into the games that I want to play that I have played back in the day. Like, I've recently 100%ed Banjo-Tooie, and I did not remember that Grunty's last boss fight was such a horrible mess. Like, seriously, it's a really bad boss, and I hated the first-person aspect of Banjo-Tooie, but, you know, it's back in the day with Nintendo 64, and I'm not even sure if 007 GoldenEye was that great neither. The fact that a lot of people are into this whole forever game that they need to log on, that they need to go ahead and do their dailies every single day, you know, it kind of baffles me that we put ourselves in this situation where we need to go back into a video game to play every single day. And at the same time, it doesn't surprise me seeing how we have gacha and other live service games that really want the player to open up that game and log in every single day. At this point, live service games are just tiring. I don't really want to play a game just so that I can try to get a better piece of equipment that I know is going to be null and void in the next patch, or maybe I want to go ahead and try to get this Pokemon card or this character or this weapon in any kind of gacha game. Yes, Pokemon is kind of a gacha game at this point. Have you seen my collection in Pokemon TCG Pocket? It's actually kind of sad. But yeah, look at all these gacha games. Look at all these live service games. Look at all these games that want your attention. They not just want your money, but they want your attention. If you're not spending a whole bunch of time playing a certain gacha game or live service game, you're spending money to shorten it. And if you're not spending any money whatsoever, you're spending all of your time trying to say, I'm a free-to-play player and I'm getting all this stuff without spending money, but you're spending hours, hundreds of hours to make your build. You're spending like 10 times as much more than the person who's actually paying money for all of this. And it's up to you to spend all this time on gacha games. They're readily available not just on the PC but also on mobile, making it incredibly easy to check on whatever you need to do while you're on the go, whether you're taking the train or bus or you're driving. Don't do it while you're driving. I think that's kind of illegal. The point is, you're spending a lot of time in those games, be it live service, be it gacha. You're spending a lot of time. You're basically shackled to the system. If you're not spending all this time playing this free-to-play game in order to get this character or have a chance to get a character or a weapon or a piece of equipment, you're going to be held back. There's going to be some form of FOMO that's going to form within you because you think you need to come back into this game every single day in order to not miss a chance to get something good. And this predatory practice is in every single gacha game, every single free-to-play gacha game. And no matter how good or how fair the system is, you're spending a lot of time. Even if you go on every day and you spend 5 minutes or something, that 5 minutes is an illusion. It's actually 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes because you keep going back. It'll look like you're not spending a lot of time in that game, but you actually are. If you clock in those hours, you're going to see how much time you're spending in those games, which becomes a forever game. Thus, the forever game syndrome. You don't even have to be an addict. You don't have to be a gambler or addicted to the game. It's just, that's how the system is. That's how the mechanics work. That's how the game is if you're playing a live service game and you're playing monthly, but you're doing this every single day, you're logging into the game, you're doing your dungeons, your raids, you keep doing this every single day, and you're keeping it up every single day, you spend an hour or 2 or even 30 minutes, you do this daily like it's a job, this is the forever game syndrome that I'm talking about. Perhaps you want to get on and get these resources so that you can spend it on armor and equipment and weapons, and in Final Fantasy XIV's case, certain jobs share equipment, so like all the magical DPS share the same equipment, so you only have to buy them once, and so do the tanks, but you're still spending your time doing so. You know, it's an option. Obviously, you can not do this, you can do something else, you can be like, oh yeah, I just want to play these 3 jobs, of course, but I find it interesting that some of the fans that watch me, some of my friends who play the game, they go back and they say, oh, I want to 100% get all my jobs at level 100, or I want to get equipment for them for whatever reason. And some of you really do celebrate when you do an achievement within the game, which isn't bad. And I have to reiterate this, so hear me when I say this. The forever game syndrome that I am coining right now isn't a bad thing. It's just something that I am observing. It is not a bad thing. This doesn't make anything bad that you're doing because you want to play the game every single day. It's just a thing that I'm seeing. It's just something that I'm looking at people are doing, and I am noticing it. I don't think it's something bad. I just think that too many people are bearing witness to this. They kind of are stuck in that forever game syndrome. Sure, they go off and play some games that are their favorites. Perhaps they're playing maybe Dying Light or Minecraft or V Rising or any new game that comes out, and they just go right back to their forever game whenever they can. Granted, they're playing another game, so you're probably thinking, well, that doesn't mean that they have this whatever game syndrome that you think that they have. But if they're going back and they're turning it on and they're logging in and they spend any amount of time, they just keep going back no matter what, that is the forever game syndrome at work. Again, there's no shame. There's nothing bad for having this forever game syndrome. I just want people to notice it. Perhaps allowing people to delegate their time into something else that they want to do. Maybe some other games that they want to do. Maybe go outside, maybe go to the gym, maybe look at their life, maybe go back to school. I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying all this because I did those things recently. But if you notice that you're playing a game every single day, be it a gacha game or some other live service that isn't Final Fantasy XIV, I want you to remember that if you are playing 14, the director of that game said, hey, go ahead, stop playing, don't pay the sub, do something else, and we'll catch you later, right? You could do that on your own with any game. You can even get off of these gacha games and off of these live service games if you really don't think what you're doing is that important. And sometimes it is that important. In fact, I would say if it's that important to you, then I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to try to tell you to stop. Just make sure that what you're doing is really something that is worth it to you. So yeah, Final Fantasy XIV has taught me how to escape from this forever game syndrome. And again, it's not a bad thing, it's not a good thing, it's just something that I am observing. But what do you guys think? I know I haven't posted a 14 video for a little bit, but hopefully those will continue to come out in spurs. I'm actually getting the little bit of gusto and wanting to make more content on 14, and it's not going to be just on lore. There's some things I do want to do in lore, but in the general phases of Final Fantasy XIV. And then who knows, maybe I'll graduate from this game eventually somewhere in my life, and you guys will come to my channel for my personality. I don't know about that one. But as always, if you like the video, please like, and if you dislike the video, please dislike, share the video, and subscribe if you haven't. It's real easy, and you can always change your mind later. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you guys